It's at this point that most discussions of what the metaverse entails start to stall. We have a vague sense of what things currently exist that we could kind of call the metaverse. And we know which companies are investing in the idea, but we still don't know what it is. Facebook, sorry Meta, still not getting it. Thinks it will include fake houses you can invite all your friends to hang out in. Microsoft seems to think it could involve virtual meeting rooms to train new hires or chat with your remote coworkers. The pitches for these visions of the future range from optimistic to outright fan fiction. At one point during Meta's presentation on the metaverse, the company showed a scenario in which a young woman is sitting on her couch scrolling through Instagram when she sees a video a friend posted of a concert that's happening halfway across the world. The video then cuts to the concert, where the woman appears in an Avengers-style hologram. She's able to make eye contact with her friend who is physically there. They're both able to hear the concert, and they can see floating text hovering above the stage. This seems cool, but it's not really advertising a real product, or even a possible future one. In fact, it brings us to the biggest problem with the metaverse. Why does the metaverse involve holograms? When the internet first arrived, it started with a series of technological innovations, like the ability to let computers talk to each other over great distances, or the ability to hyperlink from one web page to another. These technical features were the building blocks that were then used to make the abstract structures we know the internet for: websites, apps, social networks, and everything else that relies on those core elements. And that's to say nothing of the convergence of the interface innovations that aren't strictly part of the internet, but are still necessary to make it work, such as displays, keyboards, mice, and touchscreens. With the metaverse, there are some new building blocks in place, like the ability to host hundreds of people in a single instance of a server. Ideally, future versions of a metaverse will be able to handle thousands or even millions of people at once, or motion tracking tools that can distinguish where a person is looking or where their hands are. These new technologies can be very exciting and feel futuristic. However, there are limitations that may be impossible to overcome. When tech companies like Microsoft or Meta show fictionalized videos of their visions of the future, they frequently tend to gloss over just how people will interact with the metaverse. VR headsets are still very clunky, and most people experience motion sickness or physical pain if they wear them for too long. Augmented reality glasses face a similar problem, on top of the not insignificant issue of figuring out how people can wear them around in public without looking like huge dorks. So, how do tech companies show off the idea of their technology without showing the reality of bulky headsets and dorky glasses? So far, their primary solution seems to be to simply fabricate technology from whole cloth. The holographic woman from Meta's presentation. I hate to shatter the illusion, but it's simply not possible with even very advanced versions of existing technology. Unlike motion-tracked digital avatars, which are kind of janky right now, but could be better someday, there's no janky version of making a three-dimensional picture appear in midair without tightly controlled circumstances, no matter what Iron Man tells you. Perhaps these are meant to be interpreted as images projected via glasses. Both women in the demo video are wearing similar glasses after all, but even that assumes a lot about the physical capabilities of compact glasses, which Snap can tell you isn't a simple problem to solve. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. Also subscribe to our channel before you go. Thank you for watching. What is the metaverse exactly? To hear tech CEOs like Mark Zuckerberg or Satya Nadella talk about it, the metaverse is the future of the internet, or it's a video game, or maybe it's a deeply uncomfortable, worse version of Zoom. It's hard to say. To a certain extent, talking about what the metaverse means is a bit like having a discussion about what the internet means in the 1970s. The building blocks of a new form of communication were in the process of being built, but no one could really know what the reality would look like. So, while it was true, at the time, that the internet was coming, not every idea of what that would look like is true. On the other hand, there's also a lot of marketing hype wrapped up in this idea of the metaverse. Facebook, in particular, is in an especially vulnerable place after Apple's move to limit ad tracking hit the company's bottom line. It's impossible to separate Facebook's vision of a future where everyone has a digital wardrobe to swipe through from the fact that Facebook really wants to make money selling virtual clothes. So, with all that in mind, how does metaverse work? To help you get a sense of how vague and complex a term the metaverse can be, here's an exercise to try. Mentally replace the phrase the metaverse in a sentence with cyberspace. 90% of the time, the meaning won't substantially change. That's because the term doesn't really refer to any one specific type of technology, but rather a broad shift in how we interact with technology. And it's entirely possible that the term itself will eventually become just as antiquated, even as this specific technology it once described becomes commonplace. Broadly speaking, the technologies that make up the metaverse can include virtual reality, characterized by persistent virtual worlds that continue to exist even when you're not playing, as well as augmented reality that combines aspects of the digital and physical worlds. However, it doesn't require that those spaces be exclusively accessed via VR or AR. A virtual world, like aspects of Fortnite, that can be accessed through PC, game consoles, and even phones, could be metaversal. It also translates to a digital economy, where users can create, buy, and sell goods. And in the more idealistic visions of the metaverse, it's interoperable, allowing you to take virtual items like clothes or cars from one platform to another. In the real world, you can buy a shirt from the mall and then wear it to a movie theater. Right now, most platforms have virtual identities, avatars, and inventories that are tied to just one platform. But a metaverse might allow you to create a persona that you can take everywhere as easily as you can copy your profile picture from one social network to another. It's difficult to parse what all this means because when you hear descriptions like those above, an understandable response is, wait, doesn't that exist already? World of Warcraft, for example, is a persistent virtual world where players can buy and sell goods. Fortnite has virtual experiences like concerts, and an exhibit where Rick Sanchez can learn about MLK Jr. You can strap on an Oculus headset and be in your own personal virtual home. Is that really what the metaverse means? Just some new kinds of video games? Well, yes and no. Saying that Fortnite is the metaverse would be a bit like saying Google is the internet. Even if you could, theoretically, spend large chunks of time in Fortnite, socializing, buying things, learning, and playing games, that doesn't necessarily mean that it encompasses the entire scope of the metaverse. On the other hand, just as it would be accurate to say that Google builds parts of the internet, from physical data centers to security layers, it's similarly accurate to say that Fortnite creator Epic Games is building parts of the metaverse. And it isn't the only company doing so. Some of that work will be done by tech giants like Microsoft and Facebook, the latter of which recently rebranded to Meta to reflect this work, though we're still not quite used to the name. Many other assorted companies, including Nvidia, Unity, Roblox, and even Snap, are all working on building the infrastructure that might become the metaverse.